You know how by learning a few core strategies and taking a couple of small steps that make a massive difference to your happiness and your stress levels is kind of like the holy grail of self-help, right? Duh. Now just bear with me. I want to show you a live example. Now, I know that people faced with massive problems resist looking at small actions precisely because their problem is so big. How can small actions make a difference? That's a really good question. But remember how they got to be so big. Yep, they built up over time, one piece of the problem at a time. What I want you to pay attention to are the pieces of those problems that reach into our lives in identifiable moments. We know when they're happening. Our blood pressure goes up, our throats constrict, our fists clench, we go red in the face. We know those moments. And when they happen, what we do in the first 5 to 15 seconds makes a world of difference in our lives. Okay, now to our case study. Poof, here we go. You're a student. Hey, congratulations. It can happen. So you don't have enough money for school. So you are relying on getting all the student loan stuff in place, getting cooperation from your parents to get the loans you need, and of course, you've got to jump through all the hoops needed to get yourself accepted at a school of your choice, get registered, and to get relocated. Finally, you head on into the student loan office as part of the whole registration hoop-de-doo, and you happen to meet up with a trainee there. So she doesn't really know all the ropes yet. She doesn't really know what she's doing. And yes, you just made it into your new city and orientation starts in a couple of days. Now, for whatever reason, your dad thought he had sent everything in for the Parents Plus loan, but hadn't, or at least FAFSA is still waiting for that final document, or it's on somebody's desk somewhere. Who knows where it is? All that means is that the school doesn't have the money showing up as having been paid. And so the trainee lady is ready to cancel your student registration. Now, you're in a new city. You don't know anyone. You haven't even moved into your apartment because you can't. You still need to get approved by the rental company. You don't have internet. You can't print things out. Your phone is almost dead. And the lady says, well, sorry, but if we don't get the money by tomorrow, we will have to cancel your student status. Great. I don't know about you, but alone in a new city, starting at a new school, all I would want to do is to wake up and worry about my backpack pen and a notepad or tablet, getting my books read, getting my class schedule straight, and finding out where lecture halls were. My idea of a good time is not trying to find out who messed up, to have to stand in another line in hope of this time speaking to someone who might actually be able to help me, or to have to figure out how to put several $1,000s that I don't have in the school's account before tomorrow. The point is, life happens every day, and so often there are complications. Some of these complications are much worse than this. But even here, in the moment, tensions rise, barriers seem to mount, dark clouds gather, frustration swells, confusion, agitation, and anger grow, and relief is just not in sight. What can you do to make a difference? Now, here's the real juice. Let's look closely, very closely, at these first 5 to 15 seconds. And for argument's sake, I'm going to walk you through 2 different scenarios. Oh boy. The news is like a punch in the gut. Another one. Why does this happen to me? A dumb lady in the financial office, she obviously doesn't know what she's doing. And of course, I had to get her. And now I have to pay for her ignorance. On top of that, the problem is that my dad didn't send in the signed form like he said he did. Typical. He's of little or no help. Again. No wonder I'm in a bind. The whole system is effed up because, besides, I shouldn't be needing to get this extra money because I should be being counted as an in-state student anyway. So I shouldn't have to be paying the extra fees in the first place. About 5 seconds or so have passed. Continuing on. People are just so stupid and incompetent. How do they get and keep jobs in this economy? I'm so pissed off by the whole system. Plus, the government's about to go to shutdown. So what does that mean for my federal student aid? This is so unfair, and nobody cares that the stupid system doesn't work. So perhaps 10, perhaps 15 seconds have passed. Okay, now we're going to look at scenario 2. Oh boy. The news is like a punch in the gut. Another one. Sadly, I've had that before, but okay, I got through. So let me take a deep breath. Okay, worst case, if this isn't sorted out in time because I don't come up with the money I don't have, or FAFSA doesn't sort it out and communicate with the school, my student status gets canceled and it takes a few more days to get things in order. Bummer. Annoying. Pisses me off, but okay. I can survive that. Besides, it hasn't happened yet. And I hate to get annoyed, so I'm going to go to the gym and punch a punching bag, or I'm going to run it out on the beach. That's worked for me in the past. I know it'll work again. I'm annoyed, but I'll get this done. So now about 10 seconds have passed. Continuing on, what are my other options? Who can I get to wire or credit card some money in? It would be embarrassing, but I could call on my brother or my parents. I really don't want to do that, and I'll be horribly embarrassed, but I can if I have to. I can swallow that. So by now, 10 to 15 seconds has passed. And yes, in the latter case, already some very important things have taken place, and already that student is on the road toward reaching her goal, much better than the first, to be successfully registered and focusing in on her classes. Now, something very important to notice is that while there was tension in both of those situations, one resulted in forward movement and growing levels of quiet confidence, and the other in simple stress. Now, allow me to recap a little bit more so that you can see the real difference between the two. In about the same space of time, the second person already has some actions planned, and if nothing else, has put herself in the driver's seat of her circumstances, and it would seem is also getting the things done that are going to need to be done anyway, even though in the beginning she didn't realize that those things still had to be done. The problem-focused student, meanwhile, has made no progress toward any kind of resolution. She's put the same time and energy in, but the outcomes are dramatically different in feel and in substance. And the prognosis in terms of tasks yet to be done? Well, still absolutely no progress there. So in the first case, this person almost needs someone else to come in and save them. And if this is a habit, she will always be looking for someone else to do something so she can live well. Now, when is that going to happen? Yeah, probably only when the other person or player wants something from her. And how's that going to turn out? The second, well, she is being the boss of her life. She is leading her life, moving forward even when it's annoying and irksome. She feels better about herself because she's actively making decisions that move her toward her goal, and that itself is an enormous stress reducer, more than may be apparent at first glance. So she retains a confidence about herself, and the sun seems a little brighter because of it, and she will smile more and, yes, laugh much sooner. Hello, beautiful. Do you think the person in the first scenario has a solutions mindset? Or do you think solutions are still a mystery to her? Did she use the tension of that setback to propel her toward a solution and toward getting everything done? Or will it turn into frustration, anger, cynicism, and residual stress? Now, if this was just, say, 15 seconds of these two people's lives, what happens when you extrapolate out from there to a whole day, a week, perhaps even months, or even years? How different will their lives be in whole? What will be the difference in the levels of happiness because of the trajectory of their lives set in those first few seconds? Exactly. It really is worth pondering. Now, one of the beauties of spending the first few moments that you encounter a problem focused on what you really want to achieve and taking small steps toward it because you have a solutions mindset is that you are using the tension of the moment to get things done that you need to get done anyway. And that is way cool.